So, whether you see this as an addendum to spooky season, this series will continue at least a little bit past October, but we are going to get 2 episodes of this series in the month of October, which is awesome. So, I'm at least going to class the first 2 episodes um, in for the month of October for this series. But we are going to continue it long after the month is done. So let's jump into it, shall we? Hey guys, what's going on? It's Daniel Strung from QuickTime Reactions, and welcome back to Noobs for Horror October, where I, a relative noob in the world of horror, take you down this long and winding road of spooks and scares throughout the month. And for this show, it'll be, like I said, a little bit past that. But yesterday, the Stephen King adaptations continued on as the Muschiettis bring us It. Welcome to Derry. This is a series that is connected with the films that Andy Muschietti directed, and this actually takes place 27 years before the events of the first It movie. And this is my review of episode 1, which is entitled The Pilot. And this tells the story about, of course, a group of kids. But this takes place 4 months after the disappearance of a kid named Maddie. And I should say Matty. When one girl, Lily, starts hearing things in the drainage in the sewer system, or more so drainage, inside of her home, she starts to question if Maddie is still out there and is still alive. So she gathers up a couple of people that knew Maddie, Phil and Teddy, and they try and figure out what exactly happened to him. And they may not like the road that they travel down. So, a bit of context. I know what happens in It, mainly because I've been exposed to it ever since coming into horror. I've seen bits and pieces of the Tim Curry It. I've seen bits and pieces of the first Andy Muschietti It movie. And actually, It Chapter 2 was one of my first horror movies that I saw. I can remember vividly seeing it. It was October of 2019. This was when I just came up to college, and my dad can attest that I watched at least a good half of that movie like this. Like I didn't want to look at the screen because I was scared of the jump scares. That still happens when I go to watch horror movies, but not in this instance because it's like I have the filter of my laptop screen to kind of help with that. But here we are. We have new It material, and this is completely original. I don't think any of this is in the book. Like, we've heard other incidences that have happened in the past in the movies, and my assumption is also in the book as well. But this is the first time where we're kind of like breaking new ground for the It intellectual property. But this episode starts out with Maddie. He is watching The Music Man in the theater, but he is eventually chased out by an usher, who's of course walking through. Um, Maddie is trying to hitchhike when he does stumble across a family that's willing to uh, take him where he needs to go. He basically says, anywhere but Derry. Just take me anywhere but Derry. And they're like, well, lucky for you. We were actually traveling on our way to Portland. So you found the right car. Uh, they eventually head on their way. Um, Dad's flipping the radio. You hear one radio station talk about, nuclear stuff and, the deformations that it can cause. The oldest daughter pulls out a container marked with liver, and she starts, getting her fingers in there, tries to like put the blood on Maddie's face. Um, and the youngest boy is going through a bit of a spelling phase, so he's spelling out, all the words that he hears. But soon, Maddie tries or sees that they're heading back into Derry, and so he starts to try and get out. And of course, that gets everyone in the car to spell O-U-T out. And Maddie is trying everything he can. He gets up into the front seat of the car and tries to yank the wheel out of the dad's hands, but inadvertently falls into the mom slash wife, and she's pregnant. And she's like, well, I think someone's trying to get O-U-T. And you see that happen. Granted, I didn't look at the screen when that happened, but you do see it, and you have a nice little mutant baby, very similar to the creature designs that I remember from It Chapter 2, with like, the eyeballs with like the wings and stuff, and like the weird little creatures and stuff inside of the fortune cookies. So this baby's just like flying around the car. Maddie puts in his pacifier, and then that baby just flies towards him, breaks the glass, and his pacifier falls into the river and goes down the drainage pipe, which then leads to the title cards, which I thought was really awesome. We then flash forward 4 months into the future, and Phil and Teddy are, best friends. We also have two girls, Lily and Marge. Lily sounds like she has a bit of a past, because she witnessed her father end up being killed at a pickle jarring factory, which, Pennywise does like to prey on those who exhibit the most fear, because that's how they taste delicious, the most delicious to him, if I remember correctly from the books and the movies. So Lily is prime it material. So when she is going to take a bath, she starts hearing Teddy's voice in the drainage of the tub, and she's like, Maddie, can you hear me? If you hear me, please come back home. And Maddie says, I can't. He won't let me leave. And he sticks his fingers up through the drainage pipe, which was a pretty cool visual. We get to see into at least Teddy's home life, where he is Jewish, much in the same way. I'm trying to remember who from the original story was Jewish, because I know there was at least a Jewish kid in the first one. I can't remember the name. Anyway, they're at the table, and Lily, having told them this story, as well as her connection to Maddie, um, he asks his father, like, is it possible for someone to survive in the sewer for that long? And, he basically goes into the history about their family, how they survived, the worst things imaginable, where people would, like, hang their, like, skin as, like, lampshades. And he spots a comic. It's a DC comic. And funny enough, it is a Flash comic, which I thought was a really nice tip of the hat of Andy Muschietti to his superhero movie that he directed, The Flash. And he's like, and the dad's like, stop reading about this fictional stuff. Get out of the world of fantasy. Start living in the real world. But, of course, Teddy is reading comics up in his room, but his lamp keeps going out. And on the third time he turns it on, well, even before he turns it on, you notice that there's just something a bit different about it. Flicks it on, and sure enough, it's people's faces. It's the lampshade. And, of course, that scares Teddy, and it makes them believe that, yeah, there might be something to this. So they being Lily, Phil, Teddy, and Phil's sister, Susie, they go to the library and they try and find out what exactly happened with Maddie. And they figure out where he was last seen, which was the Capitol Theater, and they know that there was a kid employee who last saw him, which then leads us to the introduction of the older Ronnie, which is played by Amanda Christine. And she's like, do you know how many people have been by here to talk about Maddie? Like, to potentially pin it on my dad? Like, I don't want to talk about this. And so she basically shoos them away. And Phil's like, so what? We only have to go off of, like, the song that he sang to you, like, through the pipage? And Ronnie hears that and is like, wait, what did you say? And we'll start getting in motion. So they eventually go to the theater. Ronnie knows the exact movie that was playing, which was Music Man. She puts on Music Man, and of course the scene that we saw in the opening plays during that part, but this time you see Maddie up on the screen, and he's walking towards them, and he's holding a baby in his hand, and they're like, "Come on, Maddie, come on, just make your way closer to us. We're gonna save you. We're gonna try and figure out where you are." And Maddie's like, "No, you're not. You guys are the reason why I'm here. It's because you all didn't care enough to be my friend." And he puts his face down near the baby. He brings it up, and he's got that nice Pennywise smile, and he lets that baby go, and it is that mutant baby that we saw at the beginning of the episode. Only because it was up on a projector screen, it is now like 10 times bigger than what it was when it was in the car, and it's flying around causing all sorts of havoc. And it gets everybody. It gets Phil, it gets Teddy, it gets Susie. In fact, when Lily was reaching out for Susie, you see it land, and you see it peck down. Ronnie gets there in the nick of time so that Lily isn't taken. But, yeah, they're all got. And what's left in Lily's hand is a portion of Susie's arm. And that's where the episode ends. You think You think, oh, these are the kids that we're going to be following for like the majority of the season. Nope, they're all gone, and now they have to be rescued now from Pennywise. So my assumption is we're going to meet the kids that we're going to be following throughout the majority of this season in the next episode, which, like I said, will be available early on Halloween, which I think is pretty cool that they're releasing an episode on Halloween. So I will have a review for that probably on Halloween. It will be really, really late on Halloween, heading into November 1st, but I'm pretty sure that that episode review plus another video that I have scheduled for Halloween will probably end up being my last for this year's News for Horror October. So if I don't mention it any other time, I just want to say thank you all for joining me throughout this wacky, crazy October. We reviewed some movies that, again, were new to me, some classics, as well as some new releases as well. And it has been really, really fun, and I cannot wait to do it again next year. And I'm also looking forward to the next episode of this series. But yeah, that is pretty much it for my review of episode 1 of It, Welcome to Derry. I'm very intrigued, and I'm very excited to see where this all goes. But in the meantime, guys, be safe out there, and my suggestion, don't go near sewers because you could end up seeing, a weird shape-shifting clown down there. So, that's just my advice. Don't go near sewers. And I will catch you guys next time.